Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. We may be in the midst of a bye week, but we are also in the midst of a little bit of momentum in the world of recruiting. I made a video yesterday and talked about a couple of kids from the class of 2026 that committed to Tennessee, coming off the big win over Alabama, orange out. We stormed the field. I don't know that we needed to do that or not, but there's a lot of buzz out there that the recruits, the visitors, are the ones that actually started the storming of the field. Cigar smoke filled the sky. It was an electric environment inside of Neyland Stadium. It was electric after the game, post game, in the locker room. The celebration within 48 hours of that victory. Tennessee gets commitments from 4-star offensive lineman Brandon Anderson, also 3-star defensive lineman Tyson Bacon. Again, I made videos on those guys yesterday, but just it feels like we were on the road forever, right? We had the NC State game that was at a neutral site. We went on the road to Oklahoma, on the road to Arkansas, and then it is good to be back home in Neyland Stadium, back-to-back games against rivals, back-to-back wins, and it was electric. Vol Football Twitter put this out earlier this week. David Ubben had tweeted out, the press box at Neyland Stadium is shaking. Molly McGrath says Josh Heupel disappearing into the crowd after the interview is legendary. The loudest, wildest environment I've ever seen. What a day on Rocky Top. You can see Will Compton tweets. He says Neyland Stadium was electric. Also, Greg McElroy, former Alabama quarterback, says having played here 3 times, this place is absolutely bonkers. It is so loud. It's so difficult to communicate. Josh Pate tweets out, Neyland Stadium at its best is the best that it gets in college football. Not one of the best. The best. When Neyland Stadium is full of Tennessee orange, Tennessee white, it is electric. He said, I said that 2 years ago. I experienced it again yesterday. At its best, it is the best. And that's an advantage when you talk about recruiting. Again, all the kids that were in town and on campus, the 2 kids that committed within 48 hours, there is also buzz of another possible flip for Tennessee. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. But as always, real quick, I need you guys to do the YouTube stuff, the thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell, all that good stuff. You want to support this channel, there's a join button right down there beside subscribe. You can do that for just $1 a month, and we appreciate that. That keeps the lights on. But I also want to take some time to plug our brand new merchandise. If you've never repped Talkin VAWLS, you can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We got these brand new State Pride 2.0 shirts. You can get whatever type of shirt you want. Then you can go in and customize the color as well. We've also got these in honor of Nate Pruitt. Good old Nate Pruitt likes to sign off with God bless and go Vols. So we've got this brand new design as well. But again, go check them out. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. The link to all that is in the description below. But let's get into it. Let's talk a little recruiting because, again, this was all over social media just because of the environment. There is so much buzz around Tennessee recruiting right now. Tom Loy of 247 Sports puts this out. This is following a great game day visit to Tennessee. Top 24/7 linebacker Rodney Colton Jr. is getting the crystal ball flip. He says, I've decided to put in the prediction for the South Carolina commit to eventually flip to the Volunteers. Now, let's go take a look at his profile, see what type of player we're talking about here in Rodney Colton. And again, he is a class of 26 kid, and I know that's a long way off, but we look back at some of the kids that committed to Tennessee. George McIntyre was here for the loss to Georgia. Now, a lot of people panic and say, oh, we lost that game. We're going to lose George. Guess who else was here? David Sanders. Guess who is committed to Tennessee and locked down? That's George McIntyre and David Sanders. The electric environment in Neyland kind of sets you up for your future recruiting class. And yeah, we're not done with the class of 25 yet, but we are building a solid foundation for this class of 2026. You can see there Rodney Colton's profile on the screen. 4-star linebacker, 6'1", 205. He's out of the state of Georgia. He did commit to South Carolina back on April the 24th. Now, when he made that commitment, pretty early, right? And some of the early offers that he had at that time were Georgia, Auburn, Tennessee, LSU, West Virginia, and Florida. After the commitment to South Carolina, he also received offers from Ohio State, Oregon, Central Florida, Mississippi State. You see the On3 profile actually has him inside the top 100. So he is an elite player, 7th best linebacker in the country. The industry rankings have him at 122 overall and a top 10 linebacker in the country. Regardless, he is elite. Now, he took visits to Georgia for their home opener. And again, all of this is after the commitment to South Carolina. So, Rodney Colton seems like a guy whose recruitment is still open. And I read an article that said he's kind of talked to the South Carolina staff about that, and he's keeping it open. And he wants to take these visits. So he took the visit to Georgia for their home opener, visited Florida for their game against UCF, been to Knoxville twice in the last 2 weeks. He was here for back-to-back wins over our rivals, a win over Florida, a win over Alabama. And you look, man, really, you can lump the Kentucky game into this. And speaking of Kentucky, he's also planning to be back in Knoxville for Kentucky. So the games that Rodney Colton's going to take in, the games that some of these class of 26, the environments that they're going to see Florida. It was Checker Neyland. It was an electric environment. And, oh, by the way, we beat one of our rivals. Following week, Alabama. It's an orange out. That stadium, man, I see a lot of people kind of mock the orange out and say, well, let's not do that. It's just a home game. What's the big deal? When it's an orange out and everybody wears their Tennessee orange, that stadium looks electric. He was there again for a win over a rival. And again, question whether or not you storm the field. Regardless, we stormed the field, and that created even more excitement post-game. Cigar fills the sky. What an environment to take in as a recruit. And then, oh, by the way, coming back for Kentucky, it's going to be a night game. We're all speculating that it is going to be dark mode. Gerald Mincy has given us plenty of bulletin board material to go out and put a beating on Kentucky and create another hostile electric environment inside of Neyland Stadium for Rodney Colton Jr. This is what he said after the game against Alabama. Said the game was amazing, shocking, and great. A lot of stuff I've never seen before. He said the atmosphere was the best atmosphere I've been in, rivalry-wise, and just in general. It was a great environment. Now, Steve Wiltfong over at On 3 put this out, said for a second straight weekend, the number 2 linebacker Rodney Colton was on campus attending the win over Florida the Saturday before. He's a South Carolina commit that's strongly considering the Vols and Georgia. Word is he is trending for Rodney Colton as well as the 2 straight weekends on campus. Tennessee, is trending for Rodney Colton following the 2 straight weekend visits. So again, class of 26 kid, a top 100 kid, an elite player. And I made the video yesterday talking about 2 more commits. Brandon Anderson, a 4-star offensive lineman. Tyson Bacon, you want to call him 3-star, that's fine. If Rodney Garner wants him, I want him too. And then you've got the number 1 player in the country in 5-star quarterback Faison Brandon. You've also got 4-star tight end Carson Sneed committed for that class. So you add a top 100 player, we're just starting to build the foundation of that class of 2026. Right now, Tennessee is ranked 7th for that class of 26. And I get it. We got a long way to go. We're not done in the class of 2025. And a lot of people sent me this on Twitter earlier in the week. On 3 Recruits puts out breaking. On 3 4-star linebacker Austin Howard has decommitted from Mississippi State. He was on an official visit to Tennessee over the weekend. So because of the timing of that, man, our eyes kind of perk up a little bit. We say, oh, he takes a visit to Tennessee. He's a 4-star linebacker, decommits right after the visit. He's 6'3", 225 out of Memphis, Tennessee. The On 3 industry rankings have him as a 3-star, have him ranked 541st nationally. On 3 has him as a 4-star. Everybody else has him as a 3-star across the board. So it's kind of an intriguing one to me. And Austin Price at VolQuest was asked on Monday if Austin Howard is a Vol. He said, I wouldn't say that. Wouldn't shock me to see him go to Vanderbilt or Memphis. And everybody's going, why would this kid choose Vanderbilt? He's coming off a visit to Tennessee. Brent Hupp said he could end up at Tennessee. The recruitment is talking to Matt Ray different. He says he's going to visit Memphis as well as Vanderbilt. Now, Steve Wiltfong put out an update here and said while 4-star linebacker Austin Howard is trending to flip from Mississippi State to Vanderbilt, this weekend was an eye-opener for him and his family. The stadium environment in particular blew them away. He could be a Vol by the end of the cycle. Now, this is just me, speculation as a fan, for the fans, by the fans, right? I have no inside connection to know where Austin Howard is going or what he's thinking. But when I see a kid decommit from Mississippi State and I hear Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and Memphis, I start to question, is Austin Howard a take at this point in the game? Now, Tennessee wants to add another linebacker. Do they have other options out there in addition to Austin Howard? Because if he ends up at Vanderbilt, did Tennessee were they really willing to take his commitment? We can speculate about it in the comment section. Like I said, I have no idea. That's just what I think. When I see him decommit, I thought the same thing as you guys. That's interesting timing coming off the visit to Tennessee. But then I see AP, I see Matt Ray, I see Brent Hubbs throwing Vanderbilt and Memphis, throwing those names out there a little bit. So we will continue to watch and see what they do with Austin Howard. Is it a timing thing? Is it a numbers thing? We'll keep an eye on it. But the class of 26 is off to the races, building a good foundation there. Wanted to make a video, drop that to you guys. As always, make sure you do smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. I would greatly appreciate it. Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it. If you don't have a comment or a question, just put a GBO. It helps the channel, helps the algorithm, all that good YouTube stuff. But that is going to do it for this one. Don't forget to join us live tonight, Talkin VAWLS live, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be talking about the win over Alabama. I may have Coach Jay come on tonight and talk about his trip to Knoxville. We'll see what we decide to do, but we'll be live tonight, 7 o'clock. So I hope you'll join us for that, because this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.